Ark, the Maid of Orleans, whose heroic life and death shines out like a beacon through the centuries of French history. And what an appropriate occasion it was for us, and this our first morning in France. From here, many of our party sent their postcards home, assuring all their friends and relations that they had arrived safely. We are now on one of the national routes to Lisieux, and here we stop for a picnic lunch, and all enjoyed the usual cup of tea, which Cyril and Fred helped to make. It was as good as that which they had back at home. It was a glorious morning. The only trouble here was the flies and other insects which were prevalent due to the heat. And now we have arrived in Lisieux, and there in front of us, welcoming us as it were, is the shrine of Saint Teresa, this beautiful basilica built to commemorate the life of Teresa of Lisieux, the little flower. Here, in the convent of Carmel, Teresa entered at the early age of 15, after very special permission had to be obtained. In the Carmel, which is attached to this beautiful basilica, Teresa led the life of a simple life of a nun. In fact, when she died, the Reverend Mother was wondering what to say, as it were, what to write about this life. But it is when we go around the way of the cross, as we are now approaching here, and we see beneath each station some quotation from the autobiography of this little saint, that we gather, as it were, an inner glimpse of the real Teresa of Lisieux. Her life could be summed up in one word: love. Love. She loved God passionately, and that love is betrayed in her life for those of us who now wish to read it through her autobiography. And here, with Father McQuaid leading us, as he did throughout this pilgrimage, we make our way of the cross around this little Calvary at the rear of the Basilica at Lisieux. And as I have previously said, in French, beneath each station, we had a quotation from the life of Therese, a quotation which reminded us of the true greatness of her life on earth. The Stations of the Cross finished, we congregate around the statue of Teresa, which is now erected over the graves where rest the earthly remains of her father and mother. Next morning we are in Lourdes, and our first journey on this occasion is to Bartray, because we are anxious, as it were, to enter Lourdes as Bernadette did. And so we go to Bartray, and there we see something of the simple homestead, the simple house where Bernadette lived with her foster parents. Here are our party going in. They buy some souvenirs, postcards, etc. But outside we look at the barn, the car buyers, which are still the same today as they were in the time of Bernadette. Very little has changed. Now the great procession is making its way into the Rosary Square, headed by the children of Mary. of this great occasion. Flags. The crowds are so great that the brancardiers and those helping are getting anxious and appealing to the people to move farther up along the steps of the great basilica, so that there will be plenty of room for all. What a great sight. What a great occasion. Now the procession has reached practically the end of the Rosary Square. The Bishop of Lourdes makes his way with the Blessed Sacrament to the right-hand side, and there he starts the blessing of the sick in groups of 2 and 3, or as numbers permit. As the bishop blesses the sick, the great French choir sings out the ejaculations to Mary Immaculate, to our Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, and to Saint Bernadette.